Well, hello friends, and welcome to the final colour along for the January Colour Club pack, which is from Steampunk Revival, and it's this illustration called A Head for Heights, where we have our little giraffe who's flying on his contraption made up of a penny farthing with wings through the air. And once again, we're following along with our January theme for our colour club, which is on the Wings of Whimsy. Okay, so I do have a sheet of paper and a sheet of acetate under this, and I'm going to start with some Arrtx markers. Now, Arrtx sent me a set of beautiful pastels, which are really light colours, and I'm going to start with that. I've been playing with my sky colours. I'm thinking I'm going to go sort of this direction. So really, really light pastels. So sometimes it's fun if you don't know what you're going to do, just to play with it, play with your colours, see if they work together. So I don't want the sky to be dominant, I just want it to be there. And I'm thinking of having like a sunset-y vibe here, which sort of spills out. So I'm going to start with a colour which is called Light Wheat from the Arrtx set, and I'm going to use my brush nibs. And I was thinking that that light wheat would sort of go here. Now the thing with the colour markers is you've got to keep moving, because if you stop for anything you get streaks. That's going to be the challenge because this page is rather huge, but we'll see how we go. And I think I want the skyline to be, these colours are really light, so I'm hoping it's just a nice lovely thing to play with. So I'm going to have my sun setting about here. With my light wheat, with maybe a little bit of a Right, I'm moving on to my next colour, which is a colour called Milky White, which is 132 if you're using. So let's play with it in here, see what it does. I'm going to just blend it a bit into that light wheat. This has got a little bit more colour in it. But as I said, I don't want this guy to dominate here. I want it to be there. I must admit that the skies can sometimes be a bit of a challenge, like with so much space to colour. I find it a little bit daunting at times. I don't know if you do. I love little borders and things that contain the colour, so you don't have to freak out. But I thought this open sky was just so integral to the illustration. You couldn't not have it, could you? Once again, I want to blend it in. And I do love these brush nibs still. I guess the challenge is on the fly to find all these little gaps without colouring the wrong thing in. Like I did there. Which is why I'm using light colours, because it's not going to matter so much, because I can go over it and it'll all work. So I'm going to go up a little bit higher with this. I'm going to stop about here. I'm going to bring that one back because I want more of that in the sky here. This is the Milky White light. Now I'm going to bring in my pale Azure 401. And once again, this is a really, really light colour. I'm going to blend it a little bit. And I was thinking of adding in a little bit of like a cloud action going on. All right, I'm going up a little bit in colour. This is 403 powder blue. Hopefully it's just a little bit darker than this. And I want to blend it in. I'm going to get a little bit into there. There's some strange lines there. I don't mind. It's the sky. Stuff happens in the sky, doesn't it? I just realised this would give you a really great break to you just colour in this side and then colour in that side. I should have done that, but I'm going to do it here. Because then you've just got this little bit at the top that you need to worry about blending. I'm going to put a little bit of a cloud up in here. I'm going with the pale light blue. It's another colour. Just for the edges here. Don't want too much of that, I just want a little touch. Right, I'm taking back to the powder blue. And you can see that I've let that dry out, so it's not blending as nicely, which is a tragedy. So all I have to do is try and convince it to blend. All right, where's my 401 pale azure. So I'm just using the lighter colour to convince that darker colour to blend into the dry marker. Which is why I mentioned you should do this side and then that side once you get to here, sort of. I might actually take that all the way down. All right, back to the powder blue. Hopefully this is still nice and wet. I think we might add a cloud there. There you go. Too much of a cheat. And then I'm bringing my pale light blue just for the corner here. And what I'm going to do is bring in my light wheat 411, this really light colour down here, because I don't want those clouds to be stark white. I'm just going to put some of that in there. All right, I just let that sky dry so that it's nice and light. So those light colours dry lighter when you let them dry, once the moisture's out of them. And I'm just going to keep doing the background. I'm going to move into the grasses here. So I'm going to bring in my ahuhus. I have a colour here called Viridian. I just want those hills in the background to be a little bit darker. And I'm going to mix and match my alcohol markers. This is a colour called Fluorite Yellow from the Arrtx range. But I just want the hills to reflect a bit of that sky, if they can. And this is Porcelain Blue. And again, bringing that Fluorite Yellow back in. Got a little bit of blending here. I don't know if it's legal to blend between sets. Can I blend my ahuhus with my Arrtx? Is that allowed? I'm going to do it. Right, let's go to a different colour. What have we got here? This, my friends, is a leaf green. Once again, I'm keeping these colours in the background just a little bit lighter, a little bit less in your face, because I want this to be the hero, so this is just sort of the backdrop. Now bring that fluorite yellow back in. I'm wanting to encourage it to sort of blend and have lines and do all sorts of squelchy things. It's grass and fields, you don't want it to be just one flat colour, do you? Well, I don't. You may. Right, the same thing, leaf green. Right, fluorite yellow, let's bring that back in again. We'll blend it all up. Get the river edges of this riverbank working for us. All right, I think we've got our background happening. Let us move on to our main character, our little giraffe here. All right, let's look at this little giraffe here. I'm going to go with a pastel yellow. And I'm also going to bring in a colour called Shallow Earth, which is sort of a little bit darker. And just to play with my thread, third colour here is a colour called Olive Yellow. Just going to do good for our shadows and things. Yeah, I think that's all going to work well. So I'm going to roll those three colours out. And I think I might need a lighter one. Okay, I'm using this colour called Naples Yellow for the underbelly. Yeah, for the underbelly. Bring our pastel yellow in next. I just want that to sort of be highlight around here. Then our shallow earth comes into play. And then our olive yellow. Olive yellow could be on the tips of these ears. All right, look at that Naples yellow. And then that pastel yellow. Bit of our shallow earth. And just a touch of our olive yellow. No, Naples yellow is not drying as light as I would like it. I'm going to bring in a lemon chiffon, because what have we got left? We've got a little bit of tail here. Lemon chiffon, it's all worn out. Oh, and green. Because I want parts of this little giraffe to be nice and light. Right, now I'm bringing in my pastel yellow. A little bit of shallow earth. Leaving that chiffon on the back of the leg there. Just going to colour over these spots because I'm come up with some darker colours later. Right, a little bit of that olive yellow. Might do his hoofs in that olive yellow. Right, let's look at his spots. I have a colour here called brick brown. All right, I've got those spots. I think there are some spots down here too, aren't there, on his legs? It's a fine-looking giraffe, isn't he? Look at him happily flying his machine. I'm just going to add a little bit of that brick brown into his hoofs. All right, let's look at the wings on his bicycle here. Two colours. I've got a cream colour and a milk tea multi. And I think I'm going to start with my milk tea multi. Let's play that over here. I want them to look like they're canvas. And cream colour would go out. Blend from that multi. Yeah, that's sort of what I was after. All right, let's do that on all the other parts of these wings and also the tail. Oh, let's get that while it's wet with our cream colour. Back to our milk tea multi. And our cream colour. Right, I'm going to look at his mane. I'm going to start colouring that with that olive yellow. I did contemplate using the brick brown, but I think it would just all merge in, so let's do it a different colour. Yeah, I think that works. I'm glad I did that. But let's bring something, a natural oak. This is a colour called natural oak. It's really dark and brown. We're just going to put in texture in that hair is what we're going to put in. Now, I've got to look at his clothes. What's he wearing? Oh, I don't know. We could do some purpley colours. Something's telling me to go deep greens on his jacket. All right, let's look at this horseradish. Is this colour? What do we think? And this is a colour called deep sky blue, which I use often. Or I'm drawn to it, so back to our horseradish. I want him to be in a sort of regatta outfit. Deep sky blue. Now I think we use this horseradish for that little strip of piping around the jacket. Bring in our deep sky blue. Right, I'm going to bring in that deep sky blue for his hat. And I think this colour called Lieberman green is going to work well. Just to offset that with a bit of highlight, I'll actually bring some of that Lieberman green into this coat. And some deep sky blue. All right, I think we need some red. This is a colour, what's it called? Strawberry pink. All right, I'm going to bring in a darker colour. This is cherry pink. Very vibrant. We're going to go with it, see what happens. Just going to get that arrow in while I've got my cherry pink out. And I wasn't going to do this, but I think that bow tie is going to go. It's going to go that same colour. Strawberry pink and then the cherry pink. And I'm bringing back my Milky white light because I forgot to colour inside this wheel. But now that's fixed. Look at that, easy. All right, I'm going to play with these wheels. I've got this colour called Neutral Grey 40. Just going to do those rims, the bicycle rims in that. And while I've got that out, I'm going to do other parts of the bike that I think should be metallic in that yellow-grey. And then we're bringing in a darker grey, yellow grey. Let's go with yellow grey. Actually, what was that grey? That was a neutral grey. Neutral grey 40. This grey is a yellow grey 05. No, 051. Is that dark enough? Maybe. For a rubber. And once again, while I've got that out, let's get some other bits of metal in those colours. And I wasn't going to do this, but I think I will. I'm going to make these struts in that strawberry pink. Cherry pink. I think his pocket handkerchief needs to match his bow tie there. Now let's go this little swallow thing here with that strawberry pink for the face. And a little bit of that cherry pink. And I think the yellow grey 051 probably going to work for that. Right, I've got Lieberman green here. I'm just going to do the evergreen trees in that colour. And the other, so I play around, this is shallow earth. I think the autumn's coming. Got a bit of tree turning. This is the olive yellow. Olive yellow. And this is Viridian. Let's bring a little bit of that deep sky blue into these trees. I think Multi. It's going to give us some like nice rusty sort of bronzy bits for our engine parts here. Yeah, I think a bit of shell white. And this colour called Lye Colour. Use that Lye Colour for a little bit of shadowing. Let's get our petals in that colour as well. All right, I think cherry is going to be needed on our light here. And I think that Lye Colour around there. All right, I'm pulling out my shell white again. We're going to do this manor house, I guess that's what it is. And that shell white. Get a little bit of yellow grey. For the front door for a shadow, and then maybe for the roof. It's a slate roof. All right, let's do this river. I'm going to use this 401, which is my pale azure. And I want to do sort of the reverse of what we did on the sky. And we're going to the 403 powder blue. Then a little bit of our 185 pale blue light, I think it's called. All right, let's bring my Milky multi in. I'm just going to emphasize these stitches at the edge here. And I think some shallow earth wouldn't go astray on our little brass clock in his pocket. And I think olive yellow for his pipe. Now in all my drawings there tend to be pipes, but that's not because I endorse smoking. In fact, it's the opposite. So don't let it encourage you into that terrible habit. But it's a fun thing to draw, so this is shell white. I'm just going to do the smoke in a shell white. Yeah, I think a little bit of lye colour for the leather on his goggles here. And maybe in his ear. I think for some of that pale light blue for inside his lamp. I'll leave a little white strip in the middle there if I can. If it blurs in, I'll put it back in later. And I think I need some orange, some sort of bright orange, or orangey yellow. What about a French vermilion for this lamp? All right, let's look at these butterflies. A bit of shallow earth, I think. I don't want to introduce any new bright colours. And I think a touch of brick brown, very earthy butterflies. Now I want his shirt to stay white, but I've got this light wheat, which is what we started with. So I'm going to do that because it's just being a bit stark there. This could be fun to keep it white, but put a little bit of colour in there. And do that to this feather as well. All right, I can't resist. I'm bringing in a jelly roll. This is a new one that I've got, which is called Gold Star. And it's gold, but it's got sparkle in it. So, of course, I'm going to use that. And I think these buttons are going to do really well. Sparkly gold. I'm even going to put some on this watch. And I think this one's called Silver Star, same thing. Silver ink with sparkly bits in it. And his magical little machine is going to sparkle. It's going to sparkle, guys. Just a little bit of sparkle. Got another one of those, and this one's green. What sort of green? Let's call it a lime star. And I think this piping would benefit from a little bit of that lime star sparkly green. And you know, I was going to get into this with some pencils. I guess you could at this stage. But I'm sort of liking it where it is, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to instead bring in my jelly roll and add in some highlights. I don't want too many highlights, just a few. Right, I'm going to bring in a little bit of pencil. This is Payne's Grey in my polychromos. And I just want to add some little subtle shadows. And I'm going to add some white, I think, into his snout, to his cheeks, maybe into this underbelly part here. Yeah, I think kaput mortem. Let's get some colour into this bridge. And this is a colour called pine green. Just going to add some shadows in under these trees, under these trees. I think there's some of that pine green up in this jacket as well. And I think just a little bit more shadowing. Neutral grey 041. Well, there it is, Head for Heights. Last illustration for January for the Colour Club, where the theme is on the Wings of Whimsy. I'm really happy with my little giraffe and his flying contraption as he heads off into the sunset. So much fun. Thanks so much, guys, for colouring along with me today. I hope you enjoyed it. Remember to like and subscribe and leave your comments below. And for now, I'm going to say goodbye. If you don't have this in the book, then you can grab it, the Colour Club pack, which is available at rjhampson.com, which concludes all of the things we'll be colouring in January. And I think it's only $3, so grab it, colour along, or if you've got the book, you're ready to go. Steampunk Revival. For now, I'm going to say goodbye, but no doubt I shall see you in another video. See you later.